gone to the hospital to visit somebody and you thought you was going to encourage them and they encourage you? That's what preaching is like. You think you're giving out something, but you're getting back more than you gave. I love you. Now, Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Let them go in peace.
Take your time. Give me some space. Back up.
In a time like this, I've been seeing a commentary online and stuff like that about TD Jakes and his possibility of having a stroke or a heart attack or whatever. And I'm not really sure exactly what he had at this moment. But I'm covering it because he is a public figure and this was broadcast live and it's a conversation that's being had on multiple different social media platforms. But what I've been seeing is people that are hypercritical and they are bringing things into this conversation that has no relevance to the fact that TD Jakes is going through whatever it is that he's going through. Now, I think that we need to learn how to separate how we feel about a person or whether or not we think that they're holy from what their circumstance or their situation is. You got to be able to separate the two. But very few people are able to do that, and that's what makes them, in my opinion, regardless of whether or not they get a lot of streams or a lot of views for the situation, that's what makes them substandard content creators. Because I would never, two things, well, three things really. I would never wish death on anybody, all right? Because I always believe as a Christian that we have to seek redemption and we have to seek growth. You know what I'm saying? Always an opportunity to be better. The second thing that I would never seek is somebody to lose the ability to be able to, pay and take care of business for their family, right? You doing something should not limit the ability to earn, and I think that that's a thing. And this is just my own personal stuff. And the third thing that I would never wish on somebody is for somebody to just go to prison just because I don't like them, right? I mean, I believe in that you should have to pay for whatever it is that you do. If you rob somebody, then you should have to be convicted and go to prison for it. But I don't wish it on anybody just for the sake of me not liking them, right? And so I don't think that people are able to be objective. And that's what makes you a great reporter. That's what makes you a great content creator. That's what makes you a great streamer, is that you have to be able to be objective on both sides. And so in this instance, even though I think that there's a lot of things that we could possibly criticize the church, the black church, or even TD Jakes for, now, in my opinion, is not the time to do so. I believe that, if a person spends the majority of their life for what seems to be doing the right thing, and preaching the gospel and dedicating themselves to God and all of that stuff, then you can criticize that as far as them as a public figure. But when somebody is going through health issues, I don't I don't wish that on my worst enemy, because you don't know what their family go through. You don't know what people suffer through. I've seen some of the worst things. I mean, and not even just in my own family. I'm talking about, as a person that's a little bit more visible and as a person that's a part of the community. I've seen how that can affect people in a negative way, and it's pretty tripped out as he was delivering this and as he said it, and it's almost like his final prayer. And I'm not wishing that was his final prayer, but it almost seemed like poetic of how that played out. Let me show you what he said the last minute before he dropped the microphone. Crazy. He says, "I love you." Then he drops the microphone and he just completely fumbles. Well, here's what I wish for him. I wish for him to get healthier. I wish for him to fix himself. One thing that I will say that I've actually stopped coaching. I stopped coaching for a while because I decided that I wanted to dedicate myself to getting all the way 110% correct mentally, to getting absolutely ideal physically, hiring a nutritionist. I've always been an advocate for going to the doctor, so I've never missed doctor's appointments. Also, on top of that, to making sure that you go to the doctor and get everything done. We don't put as much into, and sometimes it's because we work so much, we dedicate ourselves so much, but we don't put as much into our health as we should. And I think that men in particular, um, we not as dedicated to our health as we probably should be. So you ain't got to tell me twice. Me watching this just means that, yo, we need to definitely focus on our health. I want to age gracefully in great health. I think that the things that you do today is the things that you're gonna have to pay for or benefit from tomorrow. And I do. I just wish that he has a recovery. I don't want to see anybody suffer for the rest of their life. I can't convict somebody in the court of public opinion of what you think he's associated with. If he has not been convicted in the court of law and there is no charges of anything that y'all assume, whether y'all want to tie him to this person or Diddy or whatever like that, I don't get into that. I have my opinion of what I think the church should be, but at the same time, as a human being, um, I don't get into the court of public opinion. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on TD Jakes. I just wish his family well. I wish his church family well. Prayers up for him again, because that is a difficult situation for that to happen right in front of everybody, right after you get done preaching your message. And you send up a prayer and then you tell people you love them, and then you automatically start going into that situation. I know in a lot of instances, people lose control of like their whole left side and stuff. And so that's not something that I'm wishing on them. We can criticize each other as content creators, but I like to hope that if I ever found myself in a situation where, it was a life circumstance or a life event happens, that people would be able to put aside what they thought about my creation of content, and they would be able to look at me as a human. And so I always pray the prayer, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and power and the glory forever, in Jesus' name. And so, if we're to be forgiven, or we're going to be forgiven according to how we forgive other people, or we're to be judged according to how we treat other people. And I believe that the way that you treat other people is how you are held accountable in the eyes of God. You know what I'm saying? If we're to be judged and evaluated based off of that, then I think that we have to start to extend a little bit more grace than we probably have been. But who knows? Maybe that's the soft side of me starting to come out during the holiday season. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Again, prayers up for his family. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.